there is still one Blockbuster video left on Earth. It is in Bend, Oregon. On a Friday night, the parking lot fills. People drive 20 minutes to rent a DVD the way their parents did. The store stocks candy near the register, just like it always did. There used to be 9,094 stores like it. The last one is now a tourist attraction. Most people who visit have never rented from Blockbuster. They come because the story of what happened to the other 9,093 is one of the most studied business decisions of the last 30 years. 30 years of case studies, thousands of articles, and still, almost everyone is looking for the mistake. Actually, there wasn't one. In the spring of 2000, two men flew to Dallas. Reed Hastings and Mark Randolph had founded Netflix 3 years earlier. The model was simple. Customers choose DVDs online. The discs arrive by mail in a red envelope. No stores, no cachet queues, no Friday night rush. Just a website, a warehouse, and a subscription. They wanted $50 million. In exchange, they were offering Blockbuster a complete acquisition of Netflix, the brand, the technology, the subscriber list. At the time, that list had around 300,000 names. Blockbuster had 60 million registered customers. The math was not difficult. John Antioco had run Blockbuster since 1997. He had taken a company in bankruptcy and turned it into the dominant force in home entertainment. Under his leadership, Blockbuster had expanded aggressively, negotiated revenue-sharing deals with every major studio, and built a logistics operation that could move millions of physical units a week. He was, by any serious measure, one of the most capable executives in the entertainment industry. When Hastings and Randolph made their pitch, Antioco listened. He asked the right questions. He looked at the numbers. Netflix was losing money. Its subscribers were a niche. Early adopters, technology enthusiasts, people willing to wait 3 days for a disc when a Blockbuster was 4 minutes from their house. The streaming technology that would eventually make the red envelope obsolete did not yet exist at a commercial scale. Internet penetration in American homes was around 5%. Antioco said no. Every person in that room would have said no. Every number in that room pointed the same way. Every year of experience pointed the same way. 60 million customers, 10,000 stores, and 15 years of getting it right, all of it pointing the same way. That is the part nobody talks about in the case studies. They look for the flaw in the reasoning. There wasn't one. For 2 years after that meeting, nothing happened. Netflix kept mailing red envelopes. Blockbuster kept opening stores. The world looked exactly the way it had looked in that conference room. Then, in 2002, Netflix went public. The IPO valued the company at $300 million. That was 6 times what Hastings had asked for. Antioco noticed. He would have been foolish not to. By 2004, he was fighting back. Blockbuster launched its own DVD by mail service. A year later came something better. They named it Total Access. The idea was straightforward and genuinely clever. Order DVDs online, return them to any physical store, swap them for something off the shelf the same day. It was everything Netflix offered plus instant gratification. Netflix had no store. It could not replicate this. Reed Hastings later said internally that Total Access was the most serious threat Netflix had ever faced. By the last quarter of 2006, Blockbuster was adding online subscribers faster than Netflix. Antioco was winning. Then Blockbuster's board stepped in. Total Access required eliminating late fees, which is a daily penalty charged when rentals weren't returned by their due date. That decision cost Blockbuster around $400 million in a single year. Carl Icahn, the activist investor who had taken a large stake in the company, led the revolt against Antioco. To Icahn, Bleeding $400 million to fight a DVD by mail startup was not a strategy. It was a catastrophe. In March 2007, Antioco was pushed out. His replacement was a man named Jim Keyes. Keyes moved quickly. He cut the marketing budget for the online service by 80%. He refocused on the physical stores. And in December 2008, he gave an interview to the Motley Fool, in which a reporter asked him directly about the competitive threat from Netflix. His answer was precise and confident. Neither Redbox nor Netflix, he said, are even on the radar screen in terms of competition. It was 2008. Netflix had 8 million subscribers. 2 years later, it had 20 million. That same year, Blockbuster filed for bankruptcy. Keyes was not being reckless. He was being consistent. He was applying the same framework that every experienced person in that Dallas conference room had applied 8 years earlier. The stores were real. The subscribers were real. The late fees were real. The threat was theoretical. And in every mental model Blockbuster had built over 15 years of success, theoretical threats lost to real ones every time. Daniel Kahneman spent decades studying how experienced mind processes exactly this kind of threat, the new information that the existing model has no category for. His account of why that failure is not a flaw but a feature of how expertise works is in his book Thinking Fast and Slow. I've left a link for the free audiobook in the description. In 1988, two economists named William Samuelson and Richard Zeckhauser published a paper that changed how researchers understood decision-making. They called what they found status quo bias. The core finding was this: when people are given a choice between keeping what they have and gaining something new, they systematically prefer what they have, even when the new option is objectively better. The bias grows stronger the more invested a person is in the existing state. And it doesn't feel like bias, it feels like experience. It feels like knowing your industry well enough to recognize a bad bet. The remarkable thing about status quo bias is that it is not a failure of intelligence. It is a product of it. The more competent you are within an existing system, the more data you have confirming that the system works. The more the system has rewarded your judgment in the past, the more you trust that your judgment will protect the system in the future. Antioco was right about almost everything he knew. He was right that 300,000 subscribers was not a serious number. He was right that the Netflix model as it existed in 2000 was not a threat to Blockbuster. Antioco evaluated Netflix as it existed in September 2000. That was a mistake. Not the evaluation, the time frame. He measured a photograph. Netflix was a film. The last store of Blockbuster in Bend, Oregon will close one day. The owner has said so herself. When it does, the parking lot will empty for the last time. Someone will pull the sign down. The candy rack near the register will go last probably. The kind of thing you clear out only after everything else is gone. There used to be 9,094 stores like it. Each one was evidence. Each one was a data point confirming the model. Each one was a system telling the people running it, you are right, keep going. John Antioco was not wrong about Blockbuster. He was wrong about what Blockbuster was about to become. The distinction sounds small in 2000. It was invisible. By 2010, it was everything. What the last store tells is not the bankruptcy, not the 10,000 stores that closed. It tells a more striking fact. It still makes sense. John Antioco was right about everything inside those four walls. What he couldn't see was what was happening just outside them.